Okay, today just gonna kind of go over a little bit of blood flow restriction training, BFR. If you're not familiar with it, it's been around a while actually. Developed in the 1970s in Japan, and the guy that developed it, Dr. Yoshi Sato, developed it over years. Experimentation, used it on the Japanese Olympic team. It's been used in Japan for a long time. Over there it's called Katsu training. Like I say, he's a medical doctor, MD, and I believe he also has PhD in exercise science. That's pretty good combo as far as exercise advice. Anyway, so as you can see, I've got armbands on here, and I'm going to inflate them here. I use inflatable armbands. I've been doing BFR since August 2021, and I'm just going to inflate here. These particular bands about 230. All bands are different, so don't take, what I'm doing is anything the way that you're supposed to do it. All the bands, the way they're made and so forth, are different. But anyway, I've got the bands here. So what the bands do is create pressure around, this case, my upper arms. And so basically, as I go through the exercise, I slow the amount of blood flow to the muscles. They fatigue very quickly, and because they fatigue quickly, you use a lot of muscle fibers and get a lot done in a shorter session than you would otherwise. And also, more importantly, with a lot less weight. So if you're like me, over 50, had some injuries, you can use a lot less weight, a lot less stress on the joints, but still get the same effects as if you're lifting a heavier weight. And that's research-based. Research started in 1995 in Japan. There's over 400 scientific research papers, studies on this. That's a fair amount in my opinion. But anyway, it's been used here and there in the US for the last decade, but just not very widely known. In any case, the typical different ways of using it, but the typical rep scheme is obviously a lightweight. Start off about 30 repetitions, wait 30 to 60 seconds, do 15, wait, do 15 and 15. That's kind of the standard, but there's many different ways of doing it. I'm just going to show you something here. I'm going to start off with some chest flies. And the idea is you're not really pausing in any of this. You're kind of continuous tension on the muscle. So you're not really pausing at the top or at the bottom. Just kind of slowly reversing to keep constant tension on the muscles. You're working to get a fatigue, to get a burn. And if you're doing this and, after however many sets, whatever you're doing, you don't feel a burn, then you didn't take it far enough as far as number of reps. You need to feel some fatigue in the muscles. You should feel a pump in the muscles. You should feel a burn. And I kind of lost on my reps here. So instead of doing 30, I'll do a few more. And say we did 20, then we'll do another exercise immediately after. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and do a pullover. I'm going to use a kettlebell. And there again, just sticking with light weight here just to work those chest muscles. Get a good stretch at the same time. You don't have to keep your legs up. I'm just doing this to get a little extra ab work. Okay, so then I would wait 30 to 60 seconds and repeat, do another set. I chose to do this because the dumbbells I have are only 15 pounds, not very heavy for the chest muscles, But I will do bicep curls with 15 pounds, and then I'll kind of do triceps, go back and forth, biceps, triceps, and I'll get a great pump. Just doing about 4 sets of each. You know, there again, reps are, you know, anywhere between 12 and 20. Like I say, the standard is start off, do 30 reps just to get the fatigue burn going. I don't always do that. I don't really care for high reps that much. But I get, the bottom line is if you're getting the burn in the muscles, you're feeling the fatigue, you're getting the same thing. So I've been talking too much. So I'll go right back to my pec flies. In my case, part of my interest in this, just besides I'm always interested in different ways to treat or train the body. I had a left shoulder injury, first injured that left rotator cuff about 31 years ago. I've tweaked it several times since, but I had recently noticed that I was seeing atrophy in my left arm, my left biceps. Triceps were a lot smaller than I wanted to be. I could see atrophy, shrinkage around that shoulder. And since doing this over the last year and a half and a couple other things, I've greatly increased the size of my left arm and my left shoulder, and I've increased the strength. And basically I'm trying to maintain size and strength in that left arm and that left shoulder without having to have surgery. I don't really want to take 6 months off. Okay, I'm getting a little fatigued here. So there again, I can go right back to the pullovers. Or if I want to do another exercise in between, say I want to do bicep curls, I can go right to bicep curls. So this way I'm kind of keeping the blood flow in the muscles, keeping that pump. There again, I'm doing a hammer curl. You can do regular biceps curls or however you want to do the biceps to hit a little more specific if that's what your goal is, that biceps. But there again, this is a fairly light weight, but I'm still getting the results as if lifting a lot more, because ultimately when you're strength training using weights, the idea is to push yourself to the point of fatigue or close to fatigue in order to get your body to adapt and or maintain whatever, if you're comfortable with that, in order to maintain that. So either way, yeah, you've got to put some effort in. And I've got you can hear my voice. Yeah, I've got my heart rate's up a little bit. Then like I say, I go right back to the chest, getting a good stretch at the bottom. Okay, I'll just stop there. Just like I say, it is more for demonstration's sake, but I've got a pretty good arm pump already going here. Basically, you know, all bands are different, so you got to, check with whatever the manufacturer of, the different bands. These particular bands, I can keep them on inflated up to 20 minutes. And that's so oftentimes, sometimes I'll spend as little as 10 minutes, 12 minutes. Sometimes it's more like 15 to 18 if I'm doing a combination of arms, maybe some shoulders, whatever. But you feel the pump. See, I feel the pump all throughout the muscles, my shoulder, even my lats. Even though I haven't done anything with my lats, I feel a good pump there. So it's kind of a carryover effect to all the muscles, in this case of the upper body. Just for example, here are the leg bands. Obviously the leg bands are larger. I put those on, and a couple of, sometimes I'll do something lighter, again, just more for a pump, without putting a lot of stress on the lower body. You know, I may take a light kettlebell and just do squats with, you know, fairly light, in this case a 20 or 35-pound kettlebell, or may add some hip hinge like a deadlift pattern. So I will do something like this with the bands around my upper thighs and just work on that hip hinge pattern. There again, get those glutes and hamstrings. And if I'm just doing legs, I may go back and forth between the squats and hip hinge, or if I want to do more of a circuit in 20 minutes, I may pick those 2 exercises for lower body and 2 exercises for the upper body. Back and forth, 4 exercises, 20-minute circuit. You know, there again, I got some cardio along with a little bit of muscle building. But I've also put you can see my bicycle over here, nothing special. But one time I put the bands on, inflated them, and went out and rode my bike for 15 minutes. Nice, easy pace, flat surface. Florida's mostly flat here. But anyway, then I hit the here, deflated the bands, rode another easy 15 minutes, and I had a tremendous pump in my legs as if I'd done an hour workout in the gym, but I didn't. I did a half-hour easy bike ride. The bands inflated 15 minutes, deflated for 15 minutes. So it's about efficiency. Like I say, I'm 57, had a lot of different injuries. So this has allowed me to train the body without putting as much stress on my joints and my muscles. So my goal is to be able to do this for the next 30 years or so. So that's one of the things I like about the bands. Time-wise, obviously, you know, it takes less time as well. So that's another factor. Less weight and less time, you know, less overall stress. So I'm just going to go ahead and deflate my arm bands here. You know, go ahead and take them off. But like I say, since I've increased, you know, the size of this left arm and shoulder, which is a good thing. It's stronger. Obviously, that was what I was looking for too. You know, actually, at one point I started feeling a lot stronger. Went to the gym doing normal exercises and got a little greedy. So I kind of retweaked something and had to back off, and I've kind of rebuilt since then. But, you know, at 57, I'm carrying the same amount of, even though I'm not a bodybuilder and I'm not interested in the maximum amount of size, I put on the same amount of muscle mass as I had at 31, maybe even slightly more. So that's good because, you know, at 40, unless you're resistance training, you start losing muscle mass, and besides having an effect on your metabolism, that has the ability with your to do with your strength and your ability to function. So maintaining muscle mass, very important for aging, both in function, if you want to play sports or be active, as well as, like I say, keeping your metabolism high. So there's no one way of doing it, and I kind of mixed around here. Like I say, if I just want to do biceps and triceps, like I say, I'll do standing curls. And you see it pressed behind the head, 4 sets of each, and I got my arm workout in. If I want to do some more specific work for my shoulder, now that I've got a nice pump, I took the, you know, like I say, at a maximum of 20 minutes, I take the arm bands off. Now I can do my rotator cuff work or some rear deltoid, whatever. And I've got a lot of blood flow already in that muscle, so it's nice and easy to work and strengthen. Or I could put the arm bands on and just do a few sets of biceps and triceps, just enough to get a pump, keep the bands on, and then go right directly to my rotator cuff work, if that's you know what you're looking to do. But you can use it a lot of different ways, and you're gonna get you know, increased size gains in the arms, upper body, or, you know, you're maintain what you already have if you already have a good, you know, a good build or base of strength to start with. But like I say, you can do this, you know, say if your upper body, you can do this, you know, one of your upper bodies a day, then go to the gym and do your regular workout, upper body, 3 or 4 days later or whatever. And you're going to get probably better results than if you only did in the gym, or you're going to get better results or the same results with less stress on the joints. And like I say, at this point, I'm looking for longevity. I want to do this for the next 2 or 3 decades, whatever I've got, And I think a lot of people are in that situation. But like I say, there's a lot of different ways of doing this. Like I say, if you're not familiar with this, like I say, over 400 scientific studies. Look up Dr. Sato, and over in Japan it's called Katsu. And like I say, he's been doing this on himself for over 50 years, and he's mid-70s, and he's jacked. He looks like a master's level bodybuilder. So not only is that effective, but it's also safe. The fact that he's been able to do this for 50 years. Like I say, he's done this with Olympic athletes in Japan for a long time, and athletes over here are starting to use this. Professional athletes are starting to use this as both part of their recovery process. Football players obviously get banged up during the season, so this is something a football player can use in season, without using as much weight, and it's easier on the body that way. Like I say, I'm trying to get back into slow pitch softball after almost 20 years off, and trying to get my strength up, trying to get my swing going again, and this is, at least if nothing else, strengthens the weak areas, especially this left shoulder, left arm, which is my lead arm, and it's stronger after doing the blood flow restriction training. So like I say, it's, find somebody, if it's interested, find somebody who already knows, who already doing it, and talk to them, or see if they can do something with you, or do your own research. But it's out there, and you're going to see explode over the next 2 or 3 years. Like I say, because you can get the same results in less time, and let's face it, most people don't like to exercise to begin with. So a lot of different applications on this, but especially in my mind, anti-aging, if you want to stay active throughout the rest of your life. And like I say, a lot of us over 50, we've had some various injuries. I've pulled quad muscles, hamstrings, this or that. I've got wear and tear on my body that I can't push the weights the way I did in my 20s, early 30s. But with this, I can get the same or similar results, and it works. And not the, like I say, these particular bands are called B3 bands. These were developed by a medical doctor who works with a lot of winter athletes, Olympic athletes, skiers, and the skiers and jumpers and so forth that compete in the Winter Olympics. He's worked with a lot of those athletes, and he's used this with some of them. So like I say, these, very, very safe. These, you can see there's little ridges in here, so they have multiple air chambers, and the bands are fairly wide. So when you get near fatigue, you start to feel a burn. The wider the band is, typically the more burn or sometimes more pain. But the nice thing with these particular size armband, you get the burn and the fatigue without a lot of pain. It's like, if you really push it, and obviously no matter what, you got to push it to get results. But it's uncomfortable, but not really too painful that you can't keep doing it. And that's some of the things that some people with there's wider bands that they use for the arms. Hey, there's a lot of pain involved with that. And if you're like most people and don't like pain, or especially don't like pain with your exercise, then And there again, I'm talking about the muscle burn pain. I'm not talking about joint pain. But like I said, I've been using these since August 2021. And I still do some regular strength training, as well as some different other strength training equipment at the place I work. But I think this is great, and I think it's only going to take off the next 2 or 3 years.